The strongest team does not always come out on top. At the World Cup, football's biggest giants often stumble against opponents nobody expects. Spain sits second in the world rankings, yet they were held to a goalless draw by a side ranked 67th. A team whose star player was discovered through LinkedIn. This was not simple bad luck, and it was not an isolated event. It is a recurring psychological phenomenon, a pattern that appears again and again at nearly every World Cup. Here is the hidden psychology that most people overlook. When an underdog faces a football powerhouse, both teams are not playing the same mental game. The favorite is focused on victory. The underdog is focused on survival. Those objectives may sound similar, but they create completely different approaches. And here is the key insight. Avoiding defeat is far easier than forcing a win. To win, you need imagination, risk-taking, and attacking solutions. To avoid defeat, you simply need discipline and structure. When 10 players position themselves perfectly between you and the goal, opportunities disappear. Spain enjoyed 70% possession, fired 27 shots, and still scored nothing. More than 25,500 passes have been completed since their last World Cup goal. Now this is where the psychology becomes even more powerful. The favorite carries the burden of expectation. Everyone assumes they will win. Most importantly, they assume it themselves. So when goals fail to arrive, doubt begins to grow. The harder they push, the more frustrated they become. The more frustration builds, the worse their judgment becomes. They rush attacks. They force impossible passes. They take low percentage shots from poor positions. Meanwhile, the underdog barely needs to change anything. The favorite slowly unravels on its own. This is what psychologists call the favorite's trap. The pressure never belongs to the smaller team. It belongs entirely to the giant. And the greater the giant, the heavier that burden becomes. Spain introduced Lamine Yamal, an 18-year-old phenomenon and arguably the most exciting young talent in world football. He instantly became the most dangerous player on the field, yet even he could not find a breakthrough, because individual brilliance can't dismantle a wall. Only space can dismantle a wall. And removing space is exactly what the underdog plans to do. That strategy defines everything. You cannot dribble through a defense that offers no openings, regardless of how talented you are. And if you believe this is only a Spain story, history tells a different tale. Argentina in 2022, ranked number 1 in the world, suffered defeat against Saudi Arabia, ranked 51st. Argentina eventually lifted the World Cup trophy, but first they experienced the trap themselves. Germany in 2018 entered as defending champions and were shocked by South Korea before crashing out in the group stage. Brazil in 1950, playing on home soil and considered the biggest favorite ever, lost the final to Uruguay in front of nearly 200,000 stunned supporters. The pattern remains remarkably consistent. The greater the favorite, the more devastating the collapse. The favorite has everything at stake, while the underdog has almost nothing to lose. And having nothing to lose is one of the most dangerous psychological advantages in sport. A fearless player attempts risks that favorites avoid. A veteran goalkeeper from a lower division suddenly delivers the performance of a lifetime. One unforgettable match can transform a career overnight. Millions of people are drawn to these stories because they represent something deeper than football. Deep down, everyone wants to believe that giants can be brought down. That is why these moments endure, and why fans never grow tired of watching them. Spain will most likely still advance, but every team in this tournament has learned a lesson. Spain can be frustrated. Spain can be contained. Spain can be pulled into the trap, and in a knockout competition, that knowledge can become a weapon. The favorite's trap is real, and every contender is vulnerable to it. The best team does not always win. Sometimes the strongest side defeats itself, and the football world cannot look away. If you enjoy videos that uncover the hidden psychology of sport, consider subscribing. The game has always been the same. The way you see it has changed.